Hello. Today we're going to talk about chapter 4, which is expressing your emotions. So I will turn to our PowerPoint shortly, but chapter 4, it talks about expressing our emotions and experiencing our emotions. And we do want to identify that we are passionate about things, which is great. But we do want to also identify what is called emotional intelligence. So why is it that when I had a bad morning, I come into work and I slam down my bag on the table or something? That may be something we need to improve upon, because that negativity may spread into everybody else's day and changing the emotions of others. So always wanting to be the efficient and proficient communicator, we need to learn how to improve our own expressions of our emotions and experiences. So we're going to move on now to the slides that represent the information from chapter 4. So again, we definitely want you to read chapter 4. And we first have to understand that the nature of emotion is to understand emotions and how they differ from feelings and moods, and we'll turn into that. Right now, those three words to us mean the same thing. But we also want to take a look at first the difference between feelings and emotions. And usually feelings are inward. So I may be having feelings of being sad, and I will express them emotionally, which is that which is displayed. So if I see someone crying, I may infer that they're sad, but that's incorrect, because they can also be tears representing joy. So an emotion is triggered by our perception of events around us. And they get signified psychological arousal. So we're passionate about something which it promotes emotion. I'm passionate about education. I'm passionate about being a communication expert, because I want to be that person in the room that can manage conflict. I want to be in that interview that I am aware when someone is not feeling comfortable, and allowing that person to feel comfortable, because we really want people to be in a workplace environment that is comforting. Determined by our awareness or labeling things. So again, we may feel something, but we don't want that feeling to be negative and allowing other people to be uncomfortable with that feeling. And our emotions obviously are governed by pre-existing norms. How I managed it in the past is probably how I'm managing it now, and reflected in verbal and nonverbal displays, as we're going to get into. So you have a pretty much of an outline of what this chapter is talking about. So two terms that are very important: emotion sharing and emotional contagion, involves disclosing emotions. So emotion sharing involves disclosing emotions, talking about them and pondering them. So I'm feeling sad because I didn't do well on my test, and that you can experience by telling someone else. And that's sharing of emotions. And usually when you share emotions, there's reciprocation. It's not this one-way tunnel, where that would be more venting. And we're going to talk about that too. The emotional contagion occurs when the experience of the same emotion rapidly spreads from one person to the others. As I said in the beginning, I don't know if you ever had an in-person class or haven't been there for a while, or you've been to a party, or even in your own home, or you have a workplace environment where somebody comes in displaying emotions negatively, and how that feeling spreads over everybody in the room. And that's an emotional contagion. And sometimes people plan it that way. They want you to be miserable if they're miserable. But we know better now. And sometimes it's hard to hide our emotions, and we don't want you to, but we want you to be intelligent about it. So if I did have a problem in the morning, I may want to share that before I went to work with someone. So I'm releasing that energy. So I'm not displaying negative emotions when I get to work. So that's why emotion sharing is the more emotional, intelligent way of doing something. So as we said, feelings are inward, and usually the difference between a feeling and a mood is that a mood will last for a long period of time. So this next one kind of shows you that feelings are quick, because right now I was just running with my dog, so I'm feeling a little tired. And I'm happy because I'm sitting down, so I'm displaying emotion of relaxation. And if I continue this relaxation over a long period of time, it would be a relaxing mood. That's why we go on vacation. And the same would happen in a negative um, emotion. So, and moods are low intensity states that typically last longer than emotions or feelings. And we usually say you're in a bad mood because now you've seen this person every morning in a bad mood. So it's lingering. And we usually use that in more of a negative rather than positive, except for vacation. We want that continuous calmness. So there are 6 primary emotions, and they're universal: surprise, joy, disgust, anger, fear, sadness. And then we have blended emotions. So if you're experiencing jealousy, it's a combination of 2 of these. So it could be surprise and anger could make you jealous. Or you could have a fear and sadness maybe creates jealousy, a fear of losing someone and sad that you're going to lose that person. So we have other emotions that are blended. And on your blackboard, I will place a list of emotions, because sometimes, honestly, we don't have the words to express our emotions. And sometimes it's actually better to say, yeah, I'm feeling this. And we don't have the words, the right words. So I will put that up and take a look at it. So personality shapes our experience and expression of emotion. So we learned in the past chapter about ocean, and your personality traits of extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism, and in your openness is a part of your personality. So we have this theory called rational emotive behavior theory. And this helps us understand that last one, where we get overwhelmed, overly passionate, can't maintain control of the intelligence or the proper way to use our emotions, where it's not harming someone else, and how to turn those negative moods into positive moods. And I'm sure you can find, I'm not going to put it up on Blackboard because there's so much, but if you put this into your Google, you can find TED Talks on this to help you move from a more negative mood to a positive mood. So what else shapes our emotions? Gender. So in some cultures, the gender difference in emotion partly derived from the way men and women orient interpersonal relationships. So it may be an ought, like women ought to do or feel and then show, compared to maybe some other cultures that do not have gender differences in how to express emotions. I know for myself, that cliche years ago, many, many, many years ago, boys don't cry or good girls don't cry. Everybody cries. And it's emotion sharing. It's showing you that you're feeling inside, and it's a good release rather than hiding your feelings. So the marshmallow test, many of you know, is the M&M's test. I think YouTube where they put M&Ms in front of the child and they say, don't eat this until mommy comes back to the room or someone comes back to the room. So it's pretty much, that's what you want to do. I'm feeling sad, so don't act on it right away. Step back, observe your behavior, maybe emotion share in between. Instead of venting right away, instead of thrusting myself and, because you're used to that in your social media where you don't like something, you directly go to vent. So we want to use some of this wonderful psychology in stepping back. And that's the first thing, because yes, we do want to react, but the difference between a child and an adult is an adult doesn't react, where children react. They don't like something, they throw a tantrum. We don't. So emotional intelligence, I brought it up to you prior, and here it is on your PowerPoint, is the ability to interpret your own and others' emotions accurately. So how do we do this? Understand your emotions or their emotions. Yeah, people get upset and you can't tell someone not to be upset. So you want to work through it. Yeah, I understand. There goes your empathy from the previous chapter. I understand you're upset. We need to know why you're upset. So when you allow people to express their emotions, it actually settles down, because that record isn't playing over and over in their head. They're actually releasing it. Also through journal writing, if there's someone else not there for you. So we talked about empathy. And then constructively manage their own emotions. We do need to step outside and say, pre-existing, this happened to me before, where I got canceled out of a class and it's totally throwing off my schedule and my future and how I'm going to graduate, and it builds and builds and it wells inside so much. And then we want to do it constructively.